So Social Security is now one of those topics that everybody wants to discuss. Lawmakers have different plans and proposals, and now they're also considering another increase. Well, I want to address what is happening because this is just a repetitive cycle that happens over and over again. We see some people say, oh, we need more benefits. Well, then they talk about and they discuss it, and then they decide, you know what, it's just not the right time. Well, here's why some are saying this is the perfect time to see an increase to Social Security benefits. So make sure you stick around for this entire video, and I will explain exactly what is going on. All I ask is if you enjoy these daily updates, do me a favor, go ahead and hit that like button. So here's what's happening. So this week is the week that the Federal Reserve is going to determine whether or not they raise interest rates. Or do they pause rates? Do they possibly cut rates? Well, economists feel that the Fed is going to just pause interest rates for the time being. And they believe that this is the only path forward because even though we have inflation right now and we've seen a slight uptick, there are still signs of cooling inflation. So they believe that we are going to see an interest rate pause. Right now, interest rates or inflation is sitting at 3.7%, which means we're a long ways away from the Fed's target of 2%, but we were close to that 2 months ago because that was when we were at 3%. Then we went up to 3.2%. Now we're up to 3.7%. But the truth is that all of this is part of this puzzle. The economy is heading in the right direction in certain instances. Now you're probably wondering, well, what does any of this have to do with Social Security? Well, let's talk about that. There are now a handful of groups that the federal government is looking at, and for good reason. These groups, let me explain why these groups are now being pretty much pushed to the front. These are being prioritized. It's Social Security recipients, it is children or families with children, and it's people with student loan debt. These three groups are being pushed to the front and being prioritized now because we have an election in just over a year. And the reason for this is because Social Security recipients, that is a huge market. That's a huge voter turnout. Okay? And so if the federal government decides to cut Social Security benefits, the people that vote for that would be screwed. They would not get reelected. The people that vote against student loan debt and pretty much just the forgiveness of it, well, they're going to be screwed. There's millions and millions of people. Then what about families with children? Again, millions and millions of people. Low-income households that could use this assistance. This is the reason why, and I've told you this before, this is the reason why we are seeing more and more discussions and proposals, but when it comes to a vote, it just doesn't happen. Now, the federal government sees these groups and they understand that they have to do more. As we have inflation above 3% or 3.7%, the Fed is going to have to step in and continue raising rates in hopes of bringing down prices once again. As a result, this is where Social Security recipients and the Social Security Administration will be impacted. If you look at this, if the Fed has to continue to raise interest rates to push down inflation, it doesn't happen overnight. And so as we see inflation tick up, which it already has, this is hurting the lower income households. Those are people on a fixed income, or those that are the majority of those people that do get Social Security benefits. As far as the Social Security Administration is concerned, the problem there is if we see that the federal government has to increase interest rates in order to fight inflation, that's likely going to cause more unemployment. That's likely going to cause a slowdown in GDP. That is also going to cause people that work less, make less money, pay less into the Social Security Trust, which, as we know, will become insolvent within the next 10 years. So again, a lot of people in a lot of places are going to be impacted here. Now, if prices continue to rise, Social Security recipients will need to spend more of their monthly benefit in order to buy the exact same stuff that they've been buying for the past 12 months. For instance, medication, food, gas, utilities, right? Car insurance, right? Travel, transportation, doesn't matter. Everything is going to cost a little bit more money. Now, obviously, spending more of your monthly benefit is not ideal, especially when most seniors are already cutting it so close to how much money they bring in versus how much money is going out. I want you to listen to this email. Okay? Here's an email that I received a while back. This email says, "Thank you for always talking about Social Security and how we are being screwed. I received $1,472 per month in benefits, and I used to get $274 for a SNAP, but that was reduced down to $103. Back in April, I received a letter from the Social Security Administration that I was overpaid about $2,600 in 2022. So I have to make 12 installment payments. My benefits are now only $1,255 per month. I was already struggling to pay my bills before, and for the past 4 months, I've not been able to make my car payment or buy a full month's prescription of my anxiety meds. If something doesn't happen to increase Social Security benefits soon, I don't know how anybody will be able to financially support themselves." Now, here's what's interesting, because I've received so many emails and comments from people about how much they make on Social Security. But when I look into these, what's interesting about these is this is what lawmakers are seeing. They're seeing the exact same, maybe not the comments, but they get the same numbers. They know what the average beneficiary is getting. They know what the average person on SNAP benefits receives. They know what it costs to have insurance and medication and pay for transportation. They have the numbers. Whether or not they look at them, that's a completely different story. But the reason why this is important is because of these things. Because of increased prices of goods and services. Yet our Social Security benefits are not increasing at the rate that most people assume they would. Yes, there's an 8.7% cost of living adjustment for 2024, or for 2023, but it doesn't mean that made sure that it kept you up with the additional inflation that we saw over the past year. Not even close. But it's actually because of this that lawmakers have put together ample proposals for additional relief and also additional cuts, not really cuts to benefits, but as far as cutting down your expenses. Lawmakers have pushed for so many different options to provide some form of relief to Social Security recipients. For example, some of the most recent ones, one is to increase your asset and income limits to stay current with the rate of inflation. Because what the federal government is asking for, and what many lawmakers have supported, is let's ensure that Social Security recipients are not living under the poverty level. They are at least 125% over. Okay? So they need to be living above the poverty line, not under it. But yet Social Security in most cases keeps families or individuals under the federal poverty level. That's a problem. And so that's something that some lawmakers are looking to change, is increasing the income and asset limit. Another one, which we talked about many times, is Senator Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, and others. They firmly believe that increasing benefits to the tune of $2,400 per year would be the best way forward. Now, I don't know if this would. Okay, I haven't seen a lot of new studies on this, but providing $200 per month to Social Security recipients would be a huge boost. And that is one of the things that there's proposals on. There's also 3 different proposals on the elimination of the Social Security taxes on benefits. And this isn't from a state standpoint, this is from a federal standpoint. Okay, so federal taxes, not state taxes, completely different. And then there's this. I believe there's 2 proposals out right now. There's more from the previous year. Okay, so in 2022 and in 2021 there's some as well. But that would incentivize savings and retirement investments. That's where the federal government wants to put the responsibility on the individual, not on the federal government and on the taxpayers, but put it on the individual, put it on the business they're working for. Is okay, well, you've been working here at XYZ paper factory for 25 years. You should have some type of retirement savings. Oh, you don't have anything? Okay, well, that's on you, because this is all you're going to get for Social Security. So that's what's part of the discussions as well. And this is why, it's happening again and again, is because now we're seeing more lawmakers ask for an increase. They want to see benefits increased. But as far as how are they going to get paid for, that's again where we still have to have these discussions. Because yes, these are some good proposals, good ideas. But when it comes to the funding of additional benefits, where is it coming from? And that's where lawmakers just can't agree. So, just wanted to fill you in on what's being said at this time regarding a potential increase to Social Security benefits. Again, it's the funding. That's the issue. But I don't want you to get the wrong information, the wrong idea that, hey, this increase is coming and it's coming soon. No, the ideas are there, the proposals are there, but the funding to fund those bills, that's what people are having a tough time with. So, as soon as you get more information, I promise, I will fill you in on all the latest news and updates. Again, all I ask is if you enjoyed these daily updates, do me a favor, go ahead, hit the like button on this video. Also, click that subscribe button so you never miss an update, and I'll see you guys on the next one.